have I got a story to share with you. A story 46 years in the making. A story that wasn't always easy. A story that wasn't always popular with a growing community. A story of a visionary in a world of bifocals and the impact of one person's passion for preservation, like skipping stones, had a ripple effect on an entire community for decades. Let me share with you the story of Greenspace and our trails, a story of community, of collaboration, and of conservation.
I'm Gerard. I'm a family physician here in Elizabethtown, and I've been practicing here for 42 years. And for 42 years, I've been involved with Greenspace. It's one of the best parts of our community. These ribbons of forest, these ribbons of green are a highway for wildlife, but also people.
I've been with Greenspace for many years, and throughout that time, I've really tried to focus on my passion, and that is making sure that our community trails are truly community trails. They're accessible, they're something that everyone of all ages and abilities can enjoy, and we have something to offer everyone in our community.
I think when you walk the trails and you see how clean they are and well kept, that you see the community buy-in and everybody understands the importance of what we have.
Let's go back and take a look at when Greenspace got started with the environmental group.
That was in the early 70s. Mary Sprague came along and was inspired by the San Antonio Riverwalk and saw that E-Town had lots of streams.
And they wanted to preserve these areas and save them from overdevelopment. It wasn't always popular. You know, there was a lot of folks that viewed them as tree huggers and extreme environmentalists because they wanted to save these areas. And quite frankly, at that time, they may have been considered that, and it may have been fitting at times. But as we look back and we see the work that they laid out for the future generations, it's really become more than that. It's really become a community of conservation.
I was influenced by Greenspace before I knew there was a Greenspace. And as a kid, I spent a lot of time right here in Freeman Creek particularly, but at Freeman Lake, Buffalo Lake trails. I spent a lot of time in the woods and creeks around here. I didn't know it at the time, but a large part of the reason they were in the shape they were in was because Greenspace was founded by grassroots volunteers in the early 70s, right before I was out there playing in the creeks. And because of that experience, you know, I've loved nature and the outdoors my whole life. I've had a 30-year career managing nature preserves and parks all over the state.
Early on in Greenspace, they really set a model for us to follow. They went out and they recruited younger organizations such as the Boy Scouts and the Girl Scouts, and some of our school organizations such as Beta Clubs and Y Clubs and student organizations. They went into schools, they recruited those kids to come out and get out into nature, take field trips out here, help us develop these trails.
To think that, 30, 40 years ago, there was a young boy, 15 years old, put a bridge in or put some kind of birdhouse project in as his Eagle Scout project. And now he's 40 or 50 years old, probably still in the community, still connected to the trails. That's a powerful thing.
I don't know of an area, regardless of size, that has a grassroots, long-standing effort like Greenspace. I mean, it's pretty unique. As citizens banded together, saw a need to take care of trails and improve the natural areas of their community, and just did it. And the partnership between Greenspace and the city of Elizabethtown is pretty remarkable.
Our urban trails that run throughout our city cover multiple neighborhoods. It doesn't focus on one economic status. It covers multiple socioeconomic statuses, and that's all credit to Greenspace and the different properties that they've acquired over the years to be able to link these trails up.
People love to visit places where people like to live, and people like to live where they like to visit. And what's exciting about what Greenspace has done with our trails, it has created a community here where we want to live and visit.
.53% of the residents in Elizabethtown either rent or lease where they live. You have a lot of apartment buildings. That doesn't always afford those people a ton of green space or a yard per se to get out and play in for their kids or themselves.
This pulls people in. They walk, they're surrounded by green, there's birds, there's animals, and much of it is ever so quiet, and we have very little quiet in our human world.
A while ago, I was having really bad anxiety. Just it wasn't too fun for me, and I started finding the different trails in our town and utilizing them, hiking, and I realized this was a great natural medicine for me to go out and just love the beautiful trails that we've done.
I'm not sure Greenspace would exist without the partnerships and alliances it has. From the beginning, there's always been a strong partnership with the city. And you know, we've got continuing partnerships with businesses, state agencies, our tourism department. It's what makes Elizabethtown different from other communities is the fact we have this trail system and we have the alliance with all these other partners.
There's so many community groups that you all formed relationships with that have been long-lasting relationships, long-lasting collaborations to really put us in a position that we're in today.
Right.
Becoming Kentucky's first urban trail town is not something that happened overnight. It was really a crowning jewel for the work that you and the previous Greenspace boards and the previous community supporters, all of that was really the crowning jewel from your work, for their work.
And many people. Greenspace trails are special. They cater to all different user groups. We have everything from kids that come out here and mountain bike and run, all the way to people my age and maybe even a little bit older, doing some pretty significant trail work and trail efforts to keep these trails going.
In order to promote conservation here in the city, it takes collaboration, and we've experienced a movement. Everybody's bought in. They're ready to jump on board and continue to improve these trails, to expand these trails, and it's really exciting to watch.
When you look at conservation, it's long-term. That's something that needs to last for hundreds, if not thousands of years. And the only way that we're going to do that is to follow a model like Greenspace and protect it for our kids and our grandkids and all of our future generations.
So part of Greenspace's mission is to preserve these trails for future generations. And I think we can look forward and see there's going to be a number of challenges, but Greenspace is up to that challenge.
You know, if E-Town continues to grow, someday it'll be a city of 100,000 potentially.
That's right.
On down the road, in the future, with developments more and more increased. So these are even more precious for the future.
That's right.
Than for right now, but they certainly are functioning well currently.
That is what conservation means. Starting in your own community and then your state, your region, you're then branching out to other and across the country.
And how many communities call us now and say to us, how did you do that? How do you all work together? How did you develop this community, this natural attraction that we have, and the ability for us to come together? I mean, a rising tide lifts all boats, and our natural trail system is definitely one of the hidden gems of our community.
If you look at our city logo, it says strong and growing, and we want that to continue with Greenspace and into the future. We want to continue that collaboration and make sure that we're wonderful partners like we have been for the past 40, 50 years.
The best ideas come from continuing to support each other, working together, being patient with each other, and creating what is best for our whole community.
hope that other people will watch this and get motivated enough to create their own green space in their own cities outside of Elizabethtown.
And in summary, these green space trails are so positive for both your mental health and your physical health. They feed our body, but they also feed the soul.
You know, what's really important about green space and the future of conservation, it's no longer about working in isolation. It's about working in collaboration with other groups, such as our financial institutions, our small businesses, our insurance companies, our healthcare providers. Even our police department has a mountain biking squad that goes out onto the trails. It's really about pulling all aspects of a community into the trail and the conservation movement, because then you become an integral part of what makes your community special. And that is what's going to carry on preservation for generations to come.